Hi, good afternoon or good evening when this goes out. Welcome to the North Bank for another edition of Arsenal Dream Transfer Window and making a debut on the channel. We've got Shaun. How are you, bro?
Yeah, good mate, really good.
You looking forward to this?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm quite keen.
Quick game, right. So, Shaun, what you've got to get is a perfect 25-man squad that you think is capable of winning at least a couple of major trophies, Premier League, Champions League, if not the quad. So, I'm looking for three goalkeepers and then two players every position, all the way down. And at the very end, I want you to promote up two academy players. At the very end, bro. But the first thing that we're going to go into is player sales. So if you want to
Yep.
go through your player sales and just give us a brief reason for why.
Yeah, no problem. So obviously, Jorginho just he's getting to a point now where he can't keep up with the Prem. He's slow. He's already signed, I think, or close to signing with Flamengo, is it in
Yeah,
Brazil? So that's I feel like a no-brainer for most people. Vieira, I just feel like he's not been it. He's I don't know. I feel like a lot of people said he was a Edu signing rather than an Arteta signing, and I don't know. I remember Adu saying like behind the scenes, like we're really excited when this kid plays, and it's just never happened. I don't think he had like big goal against Brentford, but he's never really made it in the Prem. I don't know if it's just physicality that he can't keep up with, or whatever it is. So, and I think he's still got a bit of value to him, so he'll be able to sell him for, and he's done quite well back in Porto. So I felt that was just a no-brainer for him to go. Tavares is another one, just didn't quite make it for us. Didn't make it in France either. So I think that's just another one that, I mean, these are players I think you kind of forget played for us over the last year, as well as
yeah,
Lokonga. I mean, I think I read yesterday as well, Lokonga's not being sold and he's coming back. So we have to try and recoup whatever we can with selling him. Again, he's just another player that didn't make it, hasn't didn't do well in the Prem. I can't see him going to another Prem team either, personally. Um,
yeah,
Nelson's a player that I like. He's obviously a gooner through and through, but I just think the team has just moved past him now. He's never going to get the game times he'll get is probably lower league capital Carabao Cup games. I just think that's just a wasted spot for us. So he's quite young still, so it's another market opportunity to sell him on. Plus, he's injury prone. We've got Jesus, which I think we can still get a fee, quite a good fee. Never get the money that we've lost back, but get a good fee for him. I do like Jesus. He's a difficult player to play against, but we need someone in that position that's going to score goals, and that's not something that Jesus does. And again, it's another player that's injury prone. We get so many of them at Arsenal. It's frustrating. Marquinhos, I feel like that's another Adu signing that he wanted. I think he was hoping it would be another Martinelli, but it just never really worked out. He never looked like a great player. He never looked like he had potential to me. So I think that would just be one to get rid of. The next two are very similar. Tomiyasu and Zinchenko, too injury prone, can't do 90 minutes. I love Tomiyasu. I think he's such a good asset to have. He can play left back. I mean, he locked down Salah for 2 games playing left back.
yeah,
He plays right back and he can play the right centre back role, but he's just never there. We went out injured last season, just before pre-season, came back for 10 minutes against Southampton in October, and then was gone again for the rest of the season. It's just, I feel like we probably can get a fee, just not a great fee for Tomiyasu. And then Zinchenko, I just think the squad has moved past him as well. We can't get through 70 minutes. Um, but we're going to be playing twice a week for like every season now, and it's just, I don't think he's a good player to have. We need players that can do the minutes and put in the effort. Hein, I just think we don't need him. He's done well on I think his loan spell. He didn't do great when he came in for us on a Capital Cup game, a Carabao Cup game, and I just think this a keeper that we don't need right now. We've got some good ones coming through. We've got potentially buying a new one, and we've got Reyes. I just don't feel like we need Hein. Trossard blows hot and cold for me. He's a great super sub, and then he'll come and start, and then he'll start good, and then a few games later he'll just lose it. So I feel like the way he's playing, and he's at his age, I think there's a good market opportunity again for him to sell, not for a great amount. It depends who comes in and where he wants to go, but I feel like it's a good market opportunity to move him on and get someone a bit younger for that position. Marino's probably slightly controversial, but he's done a job. Like I credit him so much for what he's done in the last 5 months in terms of playing that striker role and doing that in a position he's never played before, which is absolutely like unbelievable. And he's scored a lot of goals. But we have bought him to be in the midfield, and I don't think when he goes there he does a good enough job. I don't think he's good enough for the team in terms of that role. And I think who we're going to bring in, or who we might bring in, just makes him almost redundant. And if we're going to bring in some strikers, he's never going to play that striker role again. It was just, so I don't see where he fits in for the team. So I feel like we should probably recoup that money and then spend it elsewhere. And then we've got Partey's coming to the end of his contract, although I do understand that we're potentially talking about a new contract. I just think it's a player we need to move past. We struggle when he's not around, and eventually he's not going to be around. And I think he's getting at an age. He hasn't been injured this season, but his injuries in the past, it could just happen again. He could get injured again, and we lose him on a higher contract that he wants, from what I understand. And I just think let's move past Partey and let's learn to play without Partey for the benefit of the team in the long term. And then obviously Tierney's going to Scotland anyway, back to Celtic. Yeah. And I'm happy. I like Tierney. Again, another injury prone, and I do think he could do a job, and he could have had more of a job actually in the last few months in that left back role. But obviously it's not worked out, and he doesn't suit how Teta wants him to play.
Yeah, all valuations for the player sales have been taken off of Transfermarkt. The link's in the description. There's a number of players there, so I just want to go through a couple and then just with you. But the valuations that are there, realistically, do you think that like the price for Lukonga,
no,
that's and like the same you would say for Nelson as well, I would guess.
I think Tavares is probably more closer to 10. Lukonga's probably 12.
I think 15. Tavares has got an obligation, so I think we get that 20 million regardless.
That would be incredible if we got that.
I think there's an obligation and also a sell-on fee. So he's actually had a good season. So if he was to get sold for a higher than the 20 million, Arsenal, that fee would actually go up. So I think we're sorted on that one. I think the valuation of Vieira is probably about right.
Because he's age as well.
Yeah, he's still young and he is turning up over in Portugal. So 22 million, I think Sporting could easily pay that. They're going to get a lot of money for this season anyway for a couple of their players, so they could easily buy that. So I think that one's realistic. But if I go through a couple of the players, and I'm like, well, when we've done the exercise, it was just the valuations of what we get. But Lukonga, Nelson, Jesus, Tomiyasu, I would say you would be lucky to get half of the valuations that are on there. Would you? And just mainly due to the injuries, as you quite rightly pointed out, Shaun. Just due to the injuries. For instance, if Tomiyasu was not injury prone, there wouldn't be 25 million sitting there. I think everybody would have said that we're keeping him because he's absolutely brilliant one-on-one defender. And if we were selling him, we'd be selling him for £50 million plus. But realistically, I think there's a report came out that he's not even going to get back until next January. And I mean, that says it all. So again, if Arsenal were able to get even like 12 million back for Tomiyasu right now, it's probably fair enough. Jesus is on a massive salary. Again, both of his knees have been done.
Yep.
So just to even get him off the wage bill would be
Yeah, that'd
unbelievable
be
for
huge.
Arsenal. But I guess even if you got a £20 million fee from Saudi, personally, I'd take it. I just don't know what your thoughts are on that, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, 40 million. No, that's I can't see that happening. I mean, if he didn't have this current injury and the form he was just hitting in January,
Yeah.
he probably would have easily been able to get something close to 35, 40. But unfortunately, yeah, the ACL of all things. I don't see that. But then I wonder how much, if we did sell him for 20, how much do we also recoup throughout the year in saving in his salaries? That's got to be an extra 5 to 10
Oh,
million there.
oh, exactly. It's 200. I think he's reported on 225 a week or
Yeah,
something. It's like
huge.
it's quite huge. So yeah, no, absolutely. But no, fair enough. And you didn't spend all the money because I've seen the slides, obviously. So you haven't
Yeah,
spent all the money. So if you slightly went over with the valuations on this, it was only
yeah,
because that was the kind of task.
yeah,
I changed my valuations when I done it
yeah.
because there was no way out. Like I was looking at Jesus and I'm not getting 40 million for him regardless. So, but let's go to the players that you're
Cool.
going to buy, Shaun.
Yeah,
Um, so your first one, I think everybody's picked this one,
yeah.
Garcia.
I think it's a. I mean, I just saw yesterday a report that Newcastle scouts are actually going out to watch him uh, this weekend. So it's a worry that straight away, because if he does go to Newcastle, it's going to be they're going to offer him first game football, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I think if Arsenal do want him, they're going to have to move quick. He's just we just need not like a 20-year-old. We just need that mid-20s young big keeper that we can trust when Raya needs time off. Because I mean, it must be so mentally draining as a keeper to literally play every single game of the whole season, have no
Yeah.
day off on it. And we just
Yeah.
need, and we don't feel confident as Arsenal fans all season of Neto really coming in and doing a job close to what Raya is. And I think Garcia can come in, he can do a job if Raya's injured or needs to rest, and he can become the new number one in a few years' time. Learning from Raya, he's good on the ball. He's got that, that Spanish goalkeeper. The way they play is exactly how Arteta wants. And
Yeah.
obviously, he's what 24, I think. And I just think 20 million. That's a great market opportunity for a young keeper for the long term as well.
Well, that's actually something I forgot. I should have wrote it down. Just for the people watching, when we've got the valuations in again, it's from Transfermarkt, and what I noticed with yours, Shaun, is that all yours went into pounds. However, these are actually euros. So when it looks like at the end, Sean spent a massive amount of money, there's a massive chunk to come off because it should have actually been. I think Transfermarkt was putting them in at euros. So
Mm.
for Garcia, for instance, I think his valuation in pounds is something like 16 million.
Yeah,
So this will continue all the way through the slides until we get to the end. But you will see. So any overvaluation at the first part will not be. This part is also an overvaluation, so
yeah,
it's well within the budget you were given. But
yeah.
I agree with Garcia. By the way, I think that I and I hope it'd be good to get your opinion, but I like the fact that you kind of could have two number one goalkeepers at your club.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't. That whole thing with Ramsdale was a bit saying two number ones and like swapping them or substituting them. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think Garcia is at that level to be the number one or actually challenge Ray yet. But as Ray, he must be pushing 30 now, Ray, isn't he? Which is
Yeah,
still young for a keeper. But as they progress, that will slight change. There will be two number ones in a few years.
yeah,
And then I guess that's just the normal change of the guard kind of thing. So I don't think it would be like having two number ones, but
yeah.
it will
So
be like we're confident if he comes in, he can do a job. And you never know, he might have to come in for like 5, 6 games, do such a good job, and actually become the number one. So
yeah. No, I hear you, mate, and I totally agree. Myself and other people did speak about his distribution. You picked up brilliantly on that. It's really, really good, and another brilliant take, mate. Completely. Now, this is a player that excites me.
yeah, I really because he was what was it last season or the season before we was interested, and he had a year left on his contract, and I was hoping that we just went in and took him. But I guess there's that usual of like we don't want to upset other teams in terms of going in for their players when they don't want to sell kind of thing. But I think he's brilliant. I mean, he's a left back, but he can play left centre back. I mean, you could probably put this guy across the whole back four as cover for all of them. really, and
yeah.
he's great on. He's almost like a mixture of Timber on. He's basically Timber on the left, right?
I was about to say that to you. I was
Yeah,
about to say, is that this kind of feeling that you get that you're
yeah,
just a timber on the left hand
yeah.
side?
And Timber is unbelievable. So if you had that on both sides, you're not going to be worried, are you? And he's obviously he's
Yeah,
19, 20 years old. He's fantastic market opportunity as well. And he's not overly. I don't think he's that expensive. I mean, obviously transfer market's one thing, but I probably could go in and get him for 25, 30, 35 million.
yeah. A couple of the other guys picked him as well, and I'd agree. He is a very, very big talent, and he's kind of coming through the same kind of system as Timber as well.
Yeah,
So I totally see where you are with that, the balance on both sides. And the left hand side, just before we go to the next point, the left hand side, as we know, is very imbalanced compared to the
yeah,
right when
yeah.
other players are fit. So a brilliant addition. Zubimendi?
Yes, I mean Zubimendi's probably in everyone's list. I think it's like the most unofficially confirmed signing we've had. Like he's like
Yeah,
definitely coming, but it's not like no one can say it officially because obviously the
yeah,
window's not open. But it's a young. I mean, we're turning into Spain by the looks of things. Just another young 20. What is he? 25, 26
yeah.
player.
It's come.
He's coming in to be the new Thomas Partey, right? He's and I think this is the signing that we need. With what I was saying earlier, we need to move on from Partey and bring someone in. And I think if you ask a lot of people who's the biggest thing out there you can get in terms of that position, it's Zubimendi. Like he impressed everyone at the Euros for Spain. Um, he's I can't say I've watched too much of him, but he impressed me when I watched Spain at the Euros. I think he dominated that midfield. I think he's going to. I think he's really going to help unlock as well Odegaard and Rice in that midfield in terms of progressing the ball. I don't think he's as defensively good as Partey, but Partey's got a few more years of knowledge. But I think in terms of progressing the ball forward, he's gonna be a big help in that defensive role.
I would agree with that. And there's also what nobody actually picked up, and I forgot to do it as well, but he actually played in the same team as
Marine.
Odegaard,
Yeah,
Marino, and also Isaac. I
yeah,
believe Isaac was
yeah,
with him at the same point as well. So, yeah, but definitely Marino and Odegaard. So there would be already a bit
yeah,
of knowledge of what these guys do and what they don't do.
yeah,
So I agree. Would you say first signing of the summer?
yeah. I think this will. I reckon this one will be literally confirmed June 1st.
Yeah, straight away. We will get it done, but Arsenal will not announce it until the end of June because it's Arsenal for you.
Yeah, true.
We'll be held off with it, but we'll have had to. Here we go. This one is, do you know, Sean, I do want to touch on this one because
Yeah,
I wanted him
yeah,
before he signed for Villa.
yeah. Same.
I wanted him. However, I watched him in the Euros and I didn't think he had a very good Euros. When I watched him, but what's made you think that like you want to go back in for him now?
I just every time I watch him at Villa, I love how he drives the ball forward, and I just think he's such a strong, powerful player in that midfield. He's still young as well, like 22 years old, 23 years old. And he just picks the ball up a lot like Rice, but I think he can drive the ball forward and take a man on a little bit better than Rice. I think he's a bit technically on the ball a little bit better than Rice. Obviously, Rice has his other perks which make him a lot better in terms of what he does. But I
Yeah,
just think he's a really good, big, strong player to have. If a match isn't working out for Zubimendi and he's not having a good game, that's a good player to bring in. It's a good backup for Zubimendi, but being 23 years old. And I hear what you say in terms of the Euros, but I find it hard to judge any player at Belgium in international level because
yeah.
they've got such class players and they never ever turn up for that Belgium team. That
No, well pointed out. You're absolutely correct. They should have won the Euros, World Cups.
yeah,
With the
100%.
squad that they've got, and they've never. The
Yeah,
one thing I like about Onana is his power. He
yeah,
is.
just drives through the midfield with the ball.
He does. So yeah, that one is totally left field, but I did like it, Sean, because it was, as I say, it was a player that was on his way to Villa, and I was like, this would fix
Yeah, I
Arsenal.
really wanted him. Really wanted him.
Yeah, I did as well, mate. So we'll pop on to your next one.
Yeah.
Now, this is absolutely left field. I had to double check. I had to double check. So,
Yeah.
young Tyler Devlin, do you want to explain?
I just think he's a really, really good player. I've watched quite a bit of Southampton whenever they're on the
Right.
telly, and he's a bit like Skelly. He doesn't play with any fear against these big teams. But
Right.
19 years old, he plays that right wing, but he can also cover in that cam role as well. And he's just not afraid to take on a player. He's not afraid to move the ball forward, have shots, and I really like him for a young player. And I think it's an opportunity. If Arsenal don't move in for him, give Saka some good backup as well. One of the other
Yeah.
big teams are going to get him, and he's just going to pop off there. He won't be at Southampton next season, 100%. Someone's going to get him this summer, and
So
I
do
would
you see?
rather he be at Arsenal than anyone else.
Yeah. So do you see him because he's so young, just as a kind of backup to Saka?
Yeah, like he's literally there to play the cup games, give Saka those games off, learn from Saka. As he goes. He might even be one of those ones where we buy him and then loan him for a season straight
Yeah.
away, or he just comes in and it's like you're just playing the cup games. You're giving Saka rest when we need it. If we're
That
winning
was
a game, Saka comes off, you come on, kind of thing.
yeah. I was going to say that rather than Saka, like Saka's obviously had a serious injury
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year, and a lot of that could be down to game time. So
yeah. He's not
this,
going to. Yeah, go on, Mark.
no, sorry, I missed out his valuation off the top of your head. Could you remember what it was?
I can grab it if you want to go on to the next one. I should have it. Literally, it is 25.
25. Right. Now, left wing.
Mm-hmm.
Give an explanation to this one.
Left wing is that position for us over the last 2 seasons. I wouldn't even think about it if Martinelli just carried on as he was from 3 seasons ago.
Hmm.
Like 15 goals he had was unbelievable. And the drop off he's had, I just think he's been found out too much. And he still plays the same way. He hasn't learned. And I love Martinelli and I don't want him to go. I think he's an option. But
Hmm.
Williams, for me, the Euros, again, he was unbelievable for that Spain side, a young Spain side that literally just, they weren't, they're just so not bothered about who's in front of them kind of players. And although he hasn't had the best season this season, the second half of the season, he's actually improved quite a lot, picked up a couple of goals and a lot more assists. And I think that's what we need more of on that left wing, not so much goals, but assists. And I think he'll bring a lot more assists into the game. He's a better crosser of the ball than Martinelli. I think that's one of Martinelli's probably his worst trait on that side is
Yeah.
cutting in and getting a good ball in. He always overhits it, or he runs the byline and it goes too far outside to the box. And I just think, depending on who comes in, I mean, we've already got Havertz, who's a big guy. If we didn't get a striker and have him back up front, he'll be able to whip in a lot more balls, a lot more Saka type balls into that box, and just help get the striker get a lot more goals.
Yeah. The only barrier that I would suggest we need for one, I think everybody would have him in their team. He is a good guy. You're right. First part of the season, he wasn't as prolific as normal,
Yeah,
but the obvious barrier is the wage demand. To think that
yeah, mm-hmm.
he would come into Arsenal and demand to be the highest paid player at the club.
Yeah. That's a lot of that's what they're saying. How much of that's true, I don't know. And what he actually will want or will demand. If you're moving from Atletico Bilbao and Arsenal come in for you, there's compromises going to be made, surely, because you're not going to want to stay at
Yeah,
Bilbao unless obviously someone else is coming in that don't care about how much they pay you. But that's
yeah. I think the thing with Bilbao, the way that they do it, though, they do have their players on really high
yeah,
wages to stop them from moving on
yeah,
as quickly as what they normally would. So I think that's kind of I think so. That's the only stumbling block would be possibly the wages,
yeah,
but you're right. That could be down to we'll see that we'll see if that's true or not. I guess.
yeah.
Okay, Eze.
Eze, yeah, I love Eze. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's an Arsenal fan. I think he was at our academy for a short while. He just pops up with the big goals in big games for Palace. I actually think, Palace fans might say otherwise, but I actually think he's obviously not been there as long, but I think he's a better player for Palace than Zaha was for them. I think he's fantastic. scores goals outside the box, pops up inside the box, creates goals, free kicks. I think he's a great player. What I want to bring him in for is he'll start games, certain games, but I also like him as an idea of we're playing against a low block, we'll take Rice off on that left eight and have Eze as an option to come in and try and help open that team up a lot more. I think that's what we lack a little bit when Rice does start in that left eight is we lack a lot of creativity, especially on that left-hand side. And I think bringing someone in like that who can come in on that left eight will help open up a lot of low block teams. I think that's a player that we desperately need is a creative player on that left side.
I agree, and also I think that if you've got him in the side, he could also play attacking midfield,
Yeah,
so that would put pressure under Odegaard as well. And I think Odegaard needs it. I think Odegaard needs competition at the moment.
yeah,
I don't think
absolutely.
there's adequate competition, so he is. And I think at 55 million, it is a brilliant signing for Arsenal. And you're right, you're absolutely right. I watched him a couple of weeks ago, and the finish that he had was unbelievable. He was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So brilliant signing, Shaun. I do like him. Now this one, this one.
This is another one where I think he's just sitting on the bench at Real Madrid. The potential and the ceiling that this kid has is like through the roof. I think he could be a very, very special player. He's another good player to cover on that right wing. Like if we were to get Diblin, you know, he could go out and loan and we'll have Gula on the right wing to help cover. Or he can even be a competition. Again, he can play that cam role and come in and play as competition for Odegaard. He's a young talent. He was fantastic for Turkey at the Euros. He really he set the stage of he basically said I'm here, come and get me kind of thing. I think he's a great opportunity for someone that's just sitting on the bench. But then again, they're getting a new manager now. That might completely change, and he plays a lot more game time. But we'll have to wait and see what their manager says.
Yeah, that is a possibility because just this week you'd already sent your team in, but it broke that Rodrigo has had a massive follow up with the players.
Yeah.
So if he leaves Real Madrid, Gula might get that opportunity.
Yeah, he will. Yeah.
Within the side, but again, money wise, it is an expensive. He's young, absolutely ideal. So I do see why you've went for him, mate. Good signing. And then the last two, right? Not this one, not Gyökeres, right? But I'm not going to give away the next slide. I'm not going to give away the next slide. But if I just said that, although the Shaun's on his debut on the channel, he is greedy. That's what I would say. He is a very, very greedy man. If you've been starving for a striker for so many years, Shaun's made up for it big time. Explain to us about Gyökeres, bro.
So Gyökeres, to me, I went with Gyökeres. I mean, the perfect signing for me is Isak. I don't think that's a feasible thing that's going to happen. He's at Newcastle until they fall out the Champions League. I think they're going to get top five. He's going to stay there. Even if they don't get top five, he's out of most people's price range. I've heard Liverpool are interested in, but I can't see them breaking the bank for him. I think he's there to stay. And I think the next best thing that everyone's looking at really is Gyökeres or Sesko. And for me, I think Gyökeres is the answer now. Sesko might be the answer in the future. And we need the answer now. This guy has played 100 games for Sporting now and popped up with 97 goals. It's ridiculous output, and he's got a lot of assists in there as well. I just think he's a great player for us. He'll come in, he's powerful, he's strong on the ball, he shoots at both feet, outside the box, powerful shot. And I think the one thing I like about him over Sesko is I think he's also quite good in tight spaces in the box. And I think when you're playing low blocks, you need someone that's good in those tight spaces. And I think that is something that he's a little bit better at than Sesko as well. And he's the complete product, he's the finished product. And I think that's what we need.
I agree 100%. And one thing I didn't mention, and you have picked up on it on your side, but if you had a front three of Saka, Gyökeres, and then Nico Williams, Saka isn't getting three players put on him.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So you're opening up space across the pitch with this kind of quality. And again, you're right with Gyökeres. Again, if you're facing a low block, he is the type of player that will maybe drop just a bit deeper and smash one for 25 yards.
Absolutely.
And his shooting accuracy is absolutely bang on. So A brilliant one. Right, can I explain why Shaun's greedy? Explain. You're making up for the years. We've signed one striker in about
Yeah,
6 years or 7 years, and you want two in the one summer window.
yeah,
Then go
and
for
he's
it,
probably
bro.
I mean, he's the oldest one on that list as well, like pushing 30 this year. I think if we're selling, if I or in my the way I'm doing it, we're selling Jesus. We've got Havertz. I think we need three strikers.
Right.
And that's how I view it. I think I look back at when we had Henri, Canu, Wiltord, we had three strikers and we made it work, kind of thing. I think
Yeah.
that's what we need, and I think Watkins will be looking for that one last move, the big move. I don't think he'll be too concerned with play time. Obviously, he's going to want to play. Everyone wants to play, and I think he's Premier League proven, and he scores 15 to 20 goals every season for the last 5 or 6 years. I think that is a great option when there's injuries for someone like him to be able to come in and play, to rest players, to play cup games. I just think he's a quality player. He's a different player to the other two that we've got, which also gives us another option in terms of the
Yeah.
attack. Want someone to run in behind, you bring on Watkins, and we'll try that try something different, kind of thing. I think 50 million is. I think he'll go. I think he can go for less than 50. I really do. I don't think anyone else is going to go in for him. I
Yeah.
don't think he's happy at Villa. I think that what's happened over the last, them not letting him go to us in January, I think there's
Yeah.
definitely a rift there, because the games that he should have played, he didn't play at the end of this season. I think it's very bizarre.
He was. I think he was annoyed. I think he missed a PSG
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
was raging at it. He was like really
yeah,
like I'm not that fast
yeah.
involved to miss games like
And,
this. So
and now
you're absolutely right.
Rashford's
Yeah.
injured. Now he's playing because they have to play him, kind of thing. And yeah, I just think this. I think Arsenal could get him for what they want to pay for him, which is 40. I really do.
Yeah. There was talk as well, though. I don't know about how likely it is that if Rashford goes to Villa on a permanent contract, that Ollie Watkins might be the answer for Man United in a kind of swap plus money deal.
Yeah, I could see that. To be fair, it's just whether
Um,
United want to get a 30-year-old up front again.
yeah,
Don't
but
know how strong.
I guess their problem a bit this season's been the lack of experience in the front line. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. Do you know what? When we set out this small project, Shaun, we did say it was to go deep in the four competitions,
Mhm.
and there would be minutes there for everyone. To go
Yeah.
deep in the competitions, you've got to make changes and you've got to rest players. So there'd be plenty of minutes for everyone. But no, it's really good. Just before we go on to like your spend, and I will say this again, guys. I made the slides up for this. I should have changed or changed the values. Sean's got that he spent 485 million. He is not. He's probably spent somewhere in the region, I would say, of 430. And if you take off the 243, although some of that's overvalued, it comes way under the 300 million war chest that you were given, Shaun.
Mhm.
So we've got your side, some really interesting ones, some really left field ones, but really good. Strengthens the whole side. Who is your third choice goalkeeper, and who is your two academy players that are going to join the squad?
So third choice keeper is probably just going to be Thetford. He's young. We got him in from Ajax. He didn't get any game. Did he get? I think he got one game or any game time last
Carabao,
season.
I think he played Carabao Cup a couple of games
Yeah,
early
I think.
rounds against Carabao Cup. I was at the Bolton game. He started that
Yeah,
one.
I just think that's what the third goalkeeper is. Really, it's just a young player. I mean, he might not play. He might play. It's just very rare. So it'd be
Yeah,
Setford as the third choice. In terms of academy players, the only one that I would bring forward really is Max Downham. I mean, I think he's going to be of age where he can play.
yeah.
But then I'd also sit there and think, he's that young. Is it better off leaving him in the academy as well and just letting him develop a little bit more there, bring him in, get into an age where he can learn in the first team training, and then loan him? But for me, there's only one player in the academy. I can't. It's Max Downham. I don't know. I don't know if Setford counts as academy in the academy at all. But
Well, he does, but I think that Max is actually ripping up is it the under 21s or
yeah,
is he
yeah,
still? Yeah, so I think bringing him in, I brought him in as well, but I think you're right. I think you keep him in the under 21s,
Mm.
but I also think you have him training with the first team.
Yeah, yeah. Let him develop as much as you can.
And yeah, and let them develop as much as you can. Absolutely brilliant team, mate. You set out to win a lot of things, and I think that you've certainly with that squad, you would certainly do that. So I've really enjoyed this, Shaun. It's your first time on the channel. Have you been on before, or I think it's first time with me
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. This is first time on the channel.
Is
Yeah,
this the first time? Hopefully, we'll get you on a lot more. Your knowledge is
yeah,
excellent, mate, and this was really enjoyable. Just before we sign off, guys, in the description, we have two competitions running. Free tenner. One of them is to win an invisible set worth £149 from Zenith Coins. Um, so easy. Jump over to YouTube. The link's there. Just click on the link, register, and within 30 seconds, you've entered. And the other one is Ruth Beck Art. Absolutely, she's brilliant. We're giving away a print from Ruth. So again, guys, jump over, click on it's free 10, and again, Shaun, thanks so much for coming on, bro.
no, my pleasure, mate.
And we'll hopefully catch you on the next one soon. Thanks again, guys. We're out of here. Up the Gunners.
See you later.
Cheers, bro.